are on another episode of the We Are Never Truly Alone podcast with myself, Tiffany Rice, your favorite spirit medium. Maybe I'm not your favorite, maybe I'm not your cup of tea, but I'm a spirit medium and I'm here. And so I'm so excited for this podcast, just like all of my podcasts, but this one is very special to me because I have my good friend, Holly Daniels Christensen on. And if you guys are unfamiliar with Holly, Holly is the owner of a company called Dune Jewelry. And it's also a company that I have a collaboration with where I have a cardinal necklace, third eye chakra necklace, and angel wing necklace with so many more to come, especially with this new year that is right in front of us. But before we get into all of that, here's Holly. Holly.
Hi.
Hi.
This is so fun. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy that you were able to take the time out of your busy schedule during this season to hop on. And I wanted to talk to you because I think what you have done thus far has been so inspiring. And I think my listeners that are maybe driving to work or coming home from work, whatever time of day they're listening to this podcast, could just learn so much from you because you have this huge business that is literally global. It's global, right?
She's global.
And I'm so freaking proud of you.
Thank
you. You're welcome. But it wasn't always like this, right?
No.
So many people will just ask, even with me, they'll say, Tiff, like, how did you get to this point? Because I like to work on my own personal practice, but how do you expand? What do you do? And so I always tell them, like, it wasn't always like this. There's a starting point. So you being a woman entrepreneur, what was your starting point?
My starting point, I have a very colorful background. That's the nice way to say it. I dropped out of high school when I was 15 years old and left home. I just came from a very tumultuous, dysfunctional upbringing, and which is, it's not a sad thing. It's not, it's not good. It's not bad, but it's why I am the way I am. And it made me who I am. So I left home and I worked 100 different jobs. I have worked as a zookeeper, a pharmacy technician, a bartender, a waitress, a promotional model. I sold cars. I sold insurance. The list goes on. I think I worked for Pizza Hut for like a day and a half. And I was like,
my Cinnabon experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, this isn't going to work out. And then I landed in a real estate career for about 14 years in the Boston market, which I loved. I actually really love real estate development, interior design, all of that. But I didn't have that creative outlet. So I was always kind of drawing and doodling and painting and trying to learn guitar, trying to learn different forms of art, really. Cooking is one of my art forms still. I love to cook. But I landed at my kitchen table in 2007 and I was making jewelry for friends and family using sand from Cape Cod, where I grew up. And I was helping my childhood best friend, Kelly Quinn, with her company where we made these little ornaments out of the sand. And then I would go out and see people's reaction. They'd be like, oh my gosh, I have sand from 1974 from my honeymoon in Bermuda. And what can you do with it? And we'd be like, well, we'll make you an ornament. But then it was like, ornaments are great. They're beautiful, but they only come out once a year or you hang them in your window. We're like, what's the next step? And Kelly said, we should take jewelry making classes. And so that's what we did. And it really took off from there. Kel decided to stay home, raise her boys, and now she is the proprietor of Dune Harwich Port. So it all comes full circle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I kind of took it and ran with it and learned different techniques. And we have 2 manufacturing techniques. One has a utility patent on it. We have trademarks. We have I have a business mentor who really helped me, who is a free business mentor from SCORE, which is funded by the SBA, Small Business Administration. Highly recommend a mentor. And it doesn't have to be someone that you think is going to help you grow your business. Like that, you don't want that. You don't want the obvious. You want the unexpected.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So this gentleman must have been, I don't even know how old Rick is, but he was probably in his 60s when we met. Very, very successful, had sold his business for millions of dollars. And he was a credit card manufacturer. like gift cards and credit cards. And luckily he had the foresight to understand that plastics weren't going to be great forever. And he got out at the right time. And then he wanted to donate his time to other entrepreneurs. So
I have to ask, because I know that was so long ago for you, but if somebody's listening right now, like, was that scary for you? Because I know for me, when I started to transition my passion of doing the readings and all of a sudden creating it as a business, it was like, wait a minute. Okay, what am I doing? So definitely SCORE. And SCORE is just, it's basically...
SCORE, yeah. Google SCORE Boston or SCORE Houston or SCORE wherever you are in the country or the world. There's probably a version of it everywhere. And then if it's not popping up for some reason, just go straight to the Small Business Administration, and they will definitely point you in the right direction.
Because you do have to, when you create your passion and make it a career, you really have to be professional and have that business side of it as far as like trademarking goes. So many people that I know personally will have their business and I'll say to them, oh, is that trademarked? No, I haven't done that yet. And I'm like, wait,
what
you've been selling? Yeah, you've been selling this product for like 2 years and you haven't trademarked it yet, because it just takes one little boutique-y place or somewhere to say, oh, I've been using that longer than you, and they can whisk that away. So it's so important.
Yeah, I had that experience. We used the word destination in one of our collections, just the word destination. And I was sued for that, and I had to pay for that. Because there is a gentleman out of Florida who has the word destination trademarked in in the jewelry category. And, I think it's kind of a thing that he does. I wasn't impeding on his business. I probably could have fought it and explained that I'm not coming after his business. But he was just litigious. He wanted money from me and whatever. I don't, but not to get too personal.
Well, I know we always go a little bit deeper, and I'm like, so wait, what happened though?
Yeah, because I'm salty. But I mean, in all fairness, I would say it to his face. I'm salty about it. I think it was a false allegation. I think it was him looking for a payday because maybe he didn't do so well during COVID. And now, and I had to pay for that, which is frustrating. But it's just part of doing business. As my business mentor would say, it's simply part of doing business, and you have to protect yourself. And quite honestly, from that lawsuit, I learned a really valuable lesson. As much as I was kicking and screaming, writing the check, I learned. And now I'm very careful on usage.
So what kept you, like, let's reel it back to you sitting at the kitchen counter making these ornaments. What kept you motivated to continue going?
For me, I'm very people-based, and back then I was a very much a people pleaser. So when I would go out to arts and crafts shows, hauling tables around and selling the jewelry, I was making jewelry at that point, when people would be like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I've never seen this before. It fueled me to get more and more excited. But it also gave me the confidence to know it was a good idea.
Right.
Had I not had actual physical human feedback, I could still be sitting in my real estate office, like crafting for friends and family, honestly.
Right.
I think maybe I just need validation, outside validation.
And that's something that's good to have too. But it all comes back to you and having that fire within where you really started to just figure out, okay, this works, and this is something that I'm passionate about, and I'm going to just keep on going.
Absolutely.
So now,
and thick skin, right?
You have to have thick skin, yes.
Trust me, there are plenty of designs that I come up with that people are like, and I don't cry about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I move on.
Well, you can't take anything personal.
You cannot take anything personal. It's hard.
It is hard because our ego gets in the way. And I've talked about this in previous episodes, how our ego kind of jumps in sometimes, but you have to just take a step back, set those healthy boundaries, and move ahead. So now, okay, so you've been in business right now for how many years?
12.
12 years.
12 years.
So 12 years, you went from a kitchen counter to, well, obviously you must know how many stores you have, or like where, like you're Boston based. However, where can people find you? Like say, obviously you're online, but do you have stores, like you opened a store in Ketchikan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it out there.
That's crazy, right? Ketchikan, you're in Aruba. Like, where else are you? Or
Yeah, so Ketchikan, Alaska is a new brick and mortar store for us. So we have one on Cape Cod. Now we have one in Ketchikan, it's just so cool. It's such a great place. It happens to be a cruise port destination. So
Perfect.
that's
Yes.
why we ended up in Ketchikan. But we ship to Aruba, St. Kitts, St. Martin, St. Thomas, like all the Caribbean islands. We ship to different locations in California. We have great accounts in, believe it or not, in Sedona, Arizona. They use the beautiful red clay as opposed to beach sand. They'll use clay in their designs. Sanibel Island is one of our biggest accounts, which we're helping rebuild. We're kind of all over the place.
all Italy,
Puerto Rico.
France,
Mhm.
Puerto Rico. And, the whole idea, this is why I
Abu
wanted
Dhabi.
to do.
We have I can't talk about it yet, but we have a new venture coming up in Abu Dhabi, which is going to be really cool.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And, one of the reasons why I wanted to do a collab with you too is that it's experiential jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So just like you had said before, someone came up to you and said, "Oh, I got married in 1974 and I still hold on to the sand. What do I do with the sand? What do I do with it?" And so it's whether it's sand, whether it's like crystals, because I know in my jewelry we use moonstone and amazonite,
turquoise, lapis, all of the. I personally love to use the opaque stones in our jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I think the saturation of the color is really nice. But people send in aquamarine. We've used. We're using charoite now.
Yes.
Apatite, all sorts of different
Love
stones. Because because in the beginning we wanted the opaque stones because of the saturation. Now we're learning how to kind of craft or create with the more translucent stones, the higher value stones. I just got some rubies and emeralds in.
Oh, they're absolutely
that we're going to
stunning.
play with. Yeah,
They're stunning. I've
but
seen
those
them.
rubies in the cardinal would be.
Right.
So pretty.
And this is like sterling silver jewelry too. And that I think is, if you guys can see.
So these two, I'm
No, it's
speaking.
okay. It's okay. The ornament, the cardinal ornament is one.
Yeah.
And of course we have the angel wing ornament.
And I have on my third eye ring with malachite. And then these are our sneak peek bangles that are coming out. This is the cardinal as well.
Absolutely love it.
Which is one of your best sellers, right?
Yeah, the cardinal is pretty much one of the best sellers because it
so
reminds you of your loved ones in spirit. So whenever a cardinal is near, your loved one is here. So, it's something that I feel holds a special place in my heart and with the people that I come in contact with. And so that was the idea, is thinking of a positive memory that you cherish with your loved one in spirit and being able to put it in a piece of jewelry. And it's essentially your stuff too, like maybe for you it's like a vacation. Or obviously a vacation or a lake house,
It's a lot of times it's bucket list destinations.
Love that.
Wear something with sand from the Greek islands in it because I want to go there. So I will go there someday.
Right.
Yeah, I'm manifesting it.
And that's what you do. You manifest. You set your intentions. You manifest. Guys, how many times have we talked about intention setting and manifesting? So this is just something that, Holly did this from the beginning, and now look where you are now. And with it, of course, you're going to go down some rocky roads when you start your own business.
Absolutely.
Especially being a woman-owned business. Like, what have you personally come across where it's been a little different for you, where because you were a woman-owned business?
Everything.
Pay scale. Yeah, let's talk pay scale.
Honestly,
let's talk everything else.
I'm not the type of person to go down kind of even though I should, the inequality role, or for other, I will fight that battle for other people.
Yep.
For me, I've never been like, I'm not getting what I want, or, I've never had that lack mentality. I'm like, I'm going to work my butt off and get there. And I tend to be, we talk about it, I'm a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
I
say the same thing. I'm so intense, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
I don't mean to be. Because if I see it, which oftentimes I do, like I'll lay in a dream state and come up with ideas, or I'll see certain scenarios, and it's just my subconscious kind of leading me. and then I'm like 5 steps ahead to
Yeah.
that scenario. So everyone else, luckily I have a team now. I have 30 employees now. And majority of them understand it, and they'll be like, oh, here she goes. Let's go with her and support her, as opposed to being like, oh no, another ridiculous endeavor.
But I mean, it's part of your personality.
Yeah.
And it thrives.
Yeah.
So it shines and it thrives, and you're doing something right. So I guess what's one piece of advice that you would give people that are looking to start their own business, because I think a lot of times we get stuck in that traditional way of, well, we have to go to school, we have to have that college degree. Not that we're knocking any of that, because that's amazing.
No, of course, education is beautiful.
I dropped out of college.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to people that just feel like they have to keep on getting certification after certification, or, I mean, not that we are saying no.
I know exactly what you're saying. So I think we have the same mindset, where education is extremely important. I want my daughters to go to college. I want them to learn as much as they can. But the fact of the matter is, you don't need a formal education to be successful. You simply don't. I mean, you can start a business with an idea in Google.
Right.
Really.
And you know what? Throw some passion in that. If you connect so highly with something and you stand behind it, that is just going to make you soar. So it's important that you always remain connected, mind, body, soul, to what your purpose is once you find that purpose. And we all go through it.
I agree.
I've had 33 jobs before I did. Literally, I counted it one time. I had 33 jobs because I was like, oh, I like to do that. I'll do this and I'll do that. And it sounds like,
let's try it.
Yes, you and I are very similar in that way, where you're like, and then I sold this, and I sold turtles, or I don't know. You worked at a zoo. That's what it was. You weren't selling turtles.
I know.
The
zoo was such a great experience.
And that's amazing, because it's just all experiences. It's experiences in the way of, you have to take something from every little piece of situation that's presented to you, every job.
Yeah.
It's whether it's maybe
you also get to take if as you build a team around you, you get to take bits and pieces from every manager, every coworker, the good, the bad.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had some crazy managers. I have, and I've worked for some brilliant people, but
so it's like, now you know what to do and what not to do. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can cultivate your own leadership style, your own management style, which I think is huge.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that this has been amazing having you on. And for everybody that's listening, hopefully that, even if it's just one person that's listening, even if it's just like my mom listening to this podcast, maybe it's just like enlightened you to realize that you don't give up just because you might get a naysayer, or if you're still trying to maneuver what your passion is, you have to just keep going, and it will find you.
Yeah.
It's going to find you. It's just how it's made.
I firmly believe that. One other tip is just, and I know you guys have heard it before, some version of this, perfection is the killer of joy. It's the killer of progress. If you continuously wait until your service is perfect, your product is perfect, your appearance is perfect, you're never going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. Just get out there, put it out there, and start absorbing feedback from the people around you. That's how you're going to know if you have a viable business.
Exactly. And that's what I meant. Like, some people get so stuck in that school mentality of like, well, I got to do this first and I got to do that. And I'm like, no, just feel it first. I'm such a feeler. Like, I feel it with your heart and soul. And that's that passion. That's that drive. Mm-hmm. And you guys can do this. If that's your path, if that's something that you are drawn to do. But this is, for people that are looking to start their own business and navigate their own personal thriving moment.
I love that.
Yeah, it's all about that fire within and starting in.
Yeah.
So,
and just keep going.
Keep going.
Just keep going.
So I'm so glad you were able to come onto the podcast. You're welcome. I love you too. All right, guys. So stay tuned. Hopefully that was enlightenment for you for the day. And I will see you soon.